Same make, same model, same podcast. New mission. Once programmed to destroy the future, now their mission is to protect it. And this time, it's personal. If you thought you'd seen it all the first time, look again. Attack of the Killer Podcast Award Show, Part 2, Judgment Day.
Attention planet Earth and beyond. Stay tuned for Attack of the Killer Podcast. 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 Yay.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Part 2 of the Attack of the Killer Podcast Award Show.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. I am your host, Insane Mike. This is episode 199.
You're literally rolling up your sleeves. You're so excited.
I am
to get
excited.
Into this.
I'm excited. But 199, man.
I know.
Next one is the big 2
You thought this was the big one.
Oh.
Just wait. Is that enough O's?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And if you thought the award show was epic, two-parter epic award show, you just wait till episode 200.
200. He's gonna have his O face on.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so if you are new to the show, Attack of the Killer Podcast is a horror movie podcast. Group of friends, we get together, we sit around, we talk about horror movies, we have a good old time, we have a topic, we pick a couple movies within that topic, and then we discuss. So there's probably going to be spoilers, just to forewarn you. Now, this is an extra special episode. We do this once a year where we talk about our top 10 favorite films of the year. So it is what we call the Attack of the Killer Podcast Award Show.
I'm just excited I have friends.
Yes. If you are listening to the show for the first time, you just kind of stumbled on it on your own, you can also hear our show on our very own podcast network called the Prescribed Films Podcast Network.
That sounds cool.
It is. Or the PFPN for short.
Good short.
Yeah. There are 17 total shows on the network, so lots of great pop culture goodness to listen to. A lot of good shows, so check it out at thepfpn.com. The Attack of the Killer Podcast Award Show is sponsored by Shudder, the horror movie online streaming service that shows more than just horror movies. They have shows and podcasts and stuff too. But it's super awesome, and if you do not have a subscription, you can get one for free from us here at Attack of the Killer Podcast. You can get a month for free by going to sign up and put in the promo code AOTKP, and you'll get a free month of Shudder from Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Yeah, you get a whole month to check out all the cool stuff on there, and if you don't like it, you don't have to keep going, but
You know you will.
you know you will. It's so good. It's like Netflix for horror fans.
And the Attack of the Killer Podcast Award Show is also sponsored by our Patreons. That's right, the show couldn't happen if it wasn't for our Patreon supporters.
That's right,
The
we'd be shut
Attackers. That's right. This award-winning award show
Wait.
wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the Patreon supporters. Or any of the show. The show wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you guys out there who support the show. It probably would exist, but we just want to make
It wouldn't be as rewarding.
There you go.
Oh,
Nice.
good save.
Like
see,
that.
See what I did there?
Love it. You too could be an attacker or a Patreon supporter by going to patreon.com/AOTKP. Check out the tiers, because there's lots of goodies that you could get by becoming an attacker. You get shout out on the show. You get weekly videos. You will get the show once a week instead of every other week, thanks to bonus episodes. You could get a t-shirt. You can tell us what to do on the show by recommending a commentary episode. And so much more. So do it. Check out the tiers and see what you want to do and become an attacker today. Again, that's patreon.com AOTKP. Now, it's time to get on with the show. But first, I gotta introduce you to the other hosts of tonight's festivities.
Yay.
The Killer Podcast crew. Some say you need tons and tons of hosts to make this show awesome. I say all we need is just a tad. Tad good, everybody.
Hey, I'm glad he's here.
Next up, we got Andy. Making copies. Andy Wassum. The Anster. The Antonator. What's up, Andy?
That joke is so antiquated, but thanks. I'm glad to be here.
It's better than Tad's. So
And lastly, he's the wind beneath my wings, the Simon to my Garfunkel, the peanut butter to my jelly, the milk to my cereal, the salt to my peppa, the sauerkraut to my trash can because sauerkraut's gross. Jason Bollinger.
hey, oh man, I love this episode a lot. It's so fun to talk about the new movies. Thanks for having me. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been a good 199 episodes. What? Why are you making those faces?
Thanks for having me. You're one of the hosts of the show.
Why?
You're having
I'm not
yourself.
taking anything for granted. I'm just thankful I get to be here, and my voice works today.
Yeah, you are sounding much better
Thank
after
you.
being on your deathbed.
Thanks.
The bed that eats.
No, it does not.
Okay, so let's get into it. We have a lot to discuss. If you listen to the last episode, we did 10 through 6. So now it's down to the top 5. Our top 5 favorite films of 2019.
Oh man.
Oh, this is going to be epic. So we're going to go around. Before you actually start with your number 5, why don't you give everybody a little recap of your 10 through 6? So, Andy, why don't you start us off?
Okay. My number 10 was the HBO series Chernobyl. My number 9 was Brightburn. My number 8 was Haunt. My number 7 was Tigers Are Not Afraid. And my number 6 was Dr. Sleep. My number 5 pick is Rabid.
Rabid.
Rabbit,
Yeah,
huh?
made the list.
Wow.
Yes,
Word on the street was you were excited about it, so I can't wait to hear you talk about it.
I really liked it. The whole story about, this girl's face is all messed up. I mean, it looks like because she gets into a wreck and she's like completely beyond repair, but the repair itself, turns her into something that, is obviously, rabid, and just how it turns and changes people. I mean, I thought the practical effects were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I really do. Even though it's a remake of Cronenberg, I believe Marilyn Chambers was in the first one.
Yep.
And dude, I really liked it. It's got a cameo by CM Punk. He jumps through a window and tries to eat people. That's fun, and he's pretty good at being a prick.
Yeah, seeing Dick.
Yeah, exactly. And I think his wife in real life is one of the runway models at the end of the movie. She just has a very small bit part, just like he does. But Rabid by the Soska sisters. My number 5.
How do you feel about the original? Where does that stand in your?
Well, here's the truth. I haven't actually seen the. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I can't really make a. I might have seen the first 10 to 15 minutes of it. I've got it. It's on my to-do list, especially now.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry I called you out. I'm sorry.
no, it's not a big deal. But I. Hopefully this doesn't, discourage me from liking, the original, which I don't think it will. But Yeah, I dug Rabid. So that's my number 5.
Well, we need to go. Keep in mind it's extremely early Cronenberg and extremely low budget.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I don't mind that at all. I mean, I've seen some pretty low budget films, especially.
Yeah, true.
I like this
Yeah.
movie too.
Me too. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a little long for me. I thought they could have trimmed a little bit, but overall, yeah, the effects were awesome. I knew they would be. The Soska sisters always bring
Oh yeah.
the gore and the goo and
Yep.
they don't hold back.
And Tristan Risk getting her fingers bit off, that was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, just the overall, just the whole these raging like that doctor who played the soap opera guy who played the doctor. I mean, it slowly shows him like the sickness taking over, and he's getting like progressively more pissed when he blows a take, and he just goes after that dude. Oh my god, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is the second movie on the list that I saw that had CM Punk play a
Yep.
complete asshole. And he is really, really good at playing an asshole, so I'm wondering if it's not too far off from, how he really is. But, he was in Girl on the Third Floor, which was really cool, too. And he starred in that one. It was pretty much his movie. There's almost nobody else in that movie, so good for him.
Yes, I like this movie a lot as well. Definitely,
good.
definitely a Soska sister fan. But I was starting to get nervous there for a while because it's like first movie of theirs I saw, American Mary. Love it so much. Fell in love with that movie so much. It's awesome. And then I saw See No Evil 2.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's just a slasher. It's not bad, but there's nothing outstanding about it. There's nothing that separates it from, it was just nice, just a nice, fun little slasher in a time in an age where we don't get fun little slashers, And then I saw their first film, Dead Hooker in a Trunk, and I was like, ugh. So things were starting to, as my viewing of their filmography, it was progressively getting worse, and so I'm like, man, is American Mary it? And still, I don't think Rabid still lives up to how much I love American Mary. I agree with Tad that Rabid feels a little long in places, especially I think more in the beginning, because it just seems so. Because like there isn't nearly as much focus on the plastic surgery in the original as there is in this. It is so fixated on how she's changed for such a long time before, shit starts really hitting the fan. I mean, you get a few people turning here and there, but but like it just in the original, it just goes straight into that, and it's more about that than anything else. But yes, I still really liked it, and I feel like I can get a sense for what they are about as filmmakers, especially with body imagery and stuff like that, and so yeah,
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I thought it was just a little clunky in its storytelling, but man, I did love those effects. Her face
absolutely.
shit was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Nice.
All right, so Jason, you're number 5, but first recap 10 through 6 for us, please.
No problem. Number 10, Starfish.
Oh yeah,
Loved it. What?
nothing. I just said, oh yeah.
Number 9, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
I love how it's the Bigfoot.
I know.
And
That's the
Bigfoot.
title.
I know.
Then the Bigfoot. Number 8, my guilty pleasure, The Fanatic. Number 7, Brightburn. Number 6, Dr. Sleep.
Number 5.
And my number 5, Haunt.
Nice.
Loved it. And Tad talked about it last episode. It's hard to separate the movie with the experience, and how some of yours making movement on your list based on experience, which is fine.
and
It's totally
I
fine.
was upfront about that from the beginning
Totally.
of the last episode, that there's going to be a lot of bias in my top 10 based on experience.
And
So,
it's hard not to, this of all films to be biased about. It's easy to with Haunt because it's
Well,
our
you just
boys
wait.
who wrote and directed it. But Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who did another little movie, A Quiet Place, wrote that. Anyway, but I actually liked the movie. It was great. Like we said before, it's awesome because it's a Midwest haunted house, and all of us love going to haunted houses, and it really captures the vibe more than any haunted house film I've seen. And it was badass. It was a continual increase of intensity, and it just was freaking great. Mm-hmm. And Clown was in one of our movies, so it's even more personal.
I think Shudder gave this one an award for like best guy whose face was scarier than his mask. I think.
oh, nice. Nice.
But it also
Wow.
made like their top 5 watches movies.
Oh yeah,
and-
for sure.
yeah.
They just had some funny awards they gave out.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. I thought that's pretty funny because we just talked about that.
And it's so cool that it did find a home on Shudder because it does mean that it's guaranteed some audience, and
Yeah. And I'm gonna preach this movie forever. So those out there who have Shudder, or are going to get a month free thanks to us, please check out Haunt because I think it's awesome. I'll get more on that later.
yeah, that's my
That's it.
number 5.
That's it. Might be the best time right now to take your month of Shudder. You're gonna have some time off for the holidays.
Yep.
Joe Bob's not going to be back until his new season, so don't wait for him to come back. You have a lot of stuff to catch up on Joe Bob. You have Haunt to watch. There's just so much, Creep Show. Just, I'm going to sound like I'm plugging them because they're sponsored, but no, it's just so
Company man.
damn good. I was watching right before I got on here because I just love their live stations. I can just turn on the Lost Boys was on. Great, I want to watch Lost Boys.
I didn't know I did until I turned it on. Now
Yeah.
I do.
Right, exactly.
It's like the old days of when
I
we
Made
did
up your
TV.
mind for you.
Yeah, it went from Lost Boys right into Shocker, and I'm like,
Yes!
Damn.
Oh, nice.
yeah, I know.
Shudder's
Great.
awesome.
Very cool.
Shudder, they're just streaming from your house. It's like they're streaming from our libraries.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Tad, recap your 10 through 6, and then give us your number 5.
all right, number 10 was The Perfection. Number 9 was In Fabric. Number 8 was Us. Number 7 was Tigers Are Not Afraid. Number 6 was Crawl. And number 5 was, or is, The Lighthouse.
All right, you son of a bitch. Oh, man.
Robert Eggers' new movie.
Ah.
Who did The Witch. This one, I was not sure on how. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, and I won't because I think this hits streaming on like the 20th, maybe.
I know you're going to one
So-
cut this one this year. Is what
Yeah,
this
we're
one
a few-
is. It's going to be on
Well,
my
this-
list next year.
Yeah, but this hit theaters, so you had a shot, you had a chance.
Not in my town. I know. Come on. I'm sorry.
I'd say
Yeah,
I
you
drove 2
traveled.
hours to see it, so
It looks so
It's-
fun.
it's exactly what you think it is. I mean, if you saw The Witch, you think, well, what if they put 2 guys into a little cabin in a lighthouse and sort of drove them mad at each other because they're
2 gassy
you know,
guys in all my house.
yeah. I mean, another. I sort of have the theory that this is like the second part in a fart trilogy.
Uh-huh.
From A24. The first one was Swiss Army Man. We have this, and I'm excited to see what the third fart house movie is. But this one has a lot of yeah, it does have a lot of humor in it, and it's intentional. And it was interesting to listen to Eggers talk about that and talk about the set and how a lot of it was improvised and a lot of it wasn't necessarily acting because these 2 guys were actually getting drunk on set and they were getting pissed at each other because they're doing take after take after take in a confined space in horrible weather and bad conditions. So there wasn't a whole lot of acting to it. but the story is very simple. Willem Dafoe plays an old sort of wise dude that basically runs this lighthouse, makes sure that it is up and running at all times, and this is very old school, so they sort of talk pirate talk almost.
Arg.
Yeah, but not quite piratey, but you know what I mean. And he's very weathered and gritty and sort of a dickhead the entire time. And Rob Pattinson's this young guy who comes in and he's getting sort of thrown into the fire, and you know he's trying to basically beat him into learning the ropes of this. And it's another character study where these two guys are sort of going crazy. They get sort of confined to the space, and it will drive anybody mad, and it starts to drive them both mad, and they descend into madness. So, like I said, I'm not going to spoil any of the ending or really any. I mean, that's basically what you see in the trailer. So,
I'm glad it's good.
It's beautiful. It's crazy. It's funny. There's some moments that make you say "What the fuck," and there's some moments that say "Holy fuck," and it's definitely worth watching. It's cool as hell. I know you guys will watch it, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. So that's my number 5, The Lighthouse.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay. All right, my turn. So recap my 10 through 6. We got 10 Child's Play, 9 Glass, 8 It Chapter 2, 7 One Cut of the Dead. I know, not high enough. 6 Us.
Still regretting it.
I really am. And number 5 got brought up on the last episode. My number 5 is Crawl, which was Taz's number 6.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what more I could say after the discussion last episode, but yeah, I just saw it in the theater, so that obviously helps. And just, being on the edge of your seat, an hour and a half of just, gripping the edge of your seat for the whole time and just never letting up or stopping. It was just a fun ride, man. The CGI I thought worked really well. Way better than the pool.
Oh, barely.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of really cool scenes. I like the scene where she's trapped in the bathroom and then she tricks the alligator into the shower and shuts the door and gets out of there. Cool stuff like that. And just by the time we get to the end of the movie and the house is just completely submerged in water, it's insane.
Insane.
Yes. Never want to experience
No, you were thinking about moving to Florida, but then you saw that and you're like, nope.
Yeah, well,
not doing it.
Yeah. I'm really hooked on bath salts, so I was really looking forward to moving to Florida, but not now.
I was thinking about swimming in like a really big Olympic-sized pool, and then I saw the pool, so...
So my number 5 is Crawl.
Love it.
Crawl to your video store and rent it today.
Alexandra Aja.
Yes.
Back in the saddle.
Yep. And still kicking ass. All right, Andy, what's your number 4?
I feel like I may have ranked this maybe a little too high, but I really liked it because it's a slasher movie, but it's got just a completely very unique story to it. And my number 4 is The Furies.
Oh.
I don't even know this one.
I knew this would fall on your list after you told me you watched it and really enjoyed it, and I just avoided the conversation because got to save it for the podcast.
Okay. The story's about these group of girls that they get abducted, and basically they're kept in like these trunks or coffins, and they're out in the middle of this wooded area, and each of these girls is called a beauty. And there's 6 beauties, but also, as it turns out, as the movie progresses, they're being stalked and hunted, but there's also 6 beasts. Now, how it plays out, they all think they're being hunted, and they're all very terrified of these guys, but actually, each beauty is assigned a beast to protect them. Now, that way, if a beast goes after one of the other beast's beauties, that beast will try to protect her, and these two slashers will basically start fighting each other. And
Neat.
of course, the other slasher will just go after these other beauties that aren't his, and they'll try to protect him. So I mean, it's all played out in a game, but at the same time, these girls have things implanted in their eyeballs that are basically that they're VR enhanced. So basically, they have people who are paying to watch this as they're getting stalked, like via the internet or whatever. And it's just a very neat concept, and they can't get out of this area because it's kind of like got like this really high pitched squeal that just like really hurts their ears or whatever, kind of like how they had like the exploding collars in like The Running Man and shit like that, right? They can't get past this sector, and I really, really liked it because it gives me the stuff that I grew up on that I really, really, really like, but it turned the story around a little bit. It just gave us something different, but at the same time, it gave me something that I really, really like, and that's what kind of draws me into movies. So. My number 4 is The Furies, and I don't know, Jason, Mike, you guys didn't see this?
No, honestly, I never even heard of it.
It's on Shudder.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. But Ted, you saw it?
Yeah, I actually really didn't have any interest until Paul Rust talked about it on In Myers We Trust, and he had a lot of good things to say about it, and said he really enjoyed it for. He said, if you're into slashers, you'd really enjoy it. I watched it, and maybe it was the score that threw me off. I did not love this one, and I don't know. Maybe I need to give it another shake because I had in my mind like I was expecting something different, and then I watched it. It wasn't what I expected, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have just watching it on its own. But it had a lot of really cool moments, and I like the idea of it. It's really cool and original. It's not another zombie movie, not another slasher. It was very original. There was parts of it I did like. I just didn't. I wouldn't put it. It doesn't make my list. And yeah, I just remember really not liking the score for some reason.
All right. Interesting. All right, cool. So moving on then. Jason, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is... You gotta stop copying me, Mike. But it's Crawl.
Crawl, higher than mine.
Yeah.
So you must have liked it just that much more.
That much more. It's so great. I mean, I've in the last 5 years or so, I've been just loving animal attack films.
Yeah. What did it for you? Was it that experience way back in the day when you and I and Justin watched that 35mm print of Grizzly on the big screen?
Yep, that really turned it.
Yeah.
And since then, like Alligator, man, I love that movie.
Oh, Alligator's the best.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Day of the Animals.
Yes.
Anyway, but that's what's makes this movie unlike any other movie is that it is so simple.
Yeah.
It's just a horror situation, and that's all it is. You got to get out of it, and it's one track mind, and it's simple, and it's freaking awesome, and it's scary as shit. I love Barry Pepper. The girl's great. I don't know if I have a favorite scene. I can't remember all the craziness. I need to pick this up.
Yeah.
I remember that you're in the middle of this frickin' monsoon from hell, and I remember coming to the eye of the storm was a really neat little moment. You got this break, and You thought they were gonna, but nope, they still got fucked.
I will
But,
say, it was very simple, but there was something more to it than we're even really talking about in the relationship
Yeah.
between the dad and the daughter, and how he really pushed her as a kid to be like the best swimmer, the best she could be, and now she's using that, and he's motivating her in this situation to basically like a coach again to
Yeah.
save their lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I enjoyed all that. It was really good.
Yeah.
Crawl, man.
Crawl. This is awesome. Okay, so I'm just sitting here trying to figure out where that line is, because I know you are the perfect person to ask this kind of question.
Oh, gosh.
Because I know you hate movies where the protagonist can never catch a break.
Sure.
So where's that line between what they go through in Crawl versus what the idiot goes through in the pool?
Well, it depends. It depends. A lot of it is how well I personally relate to the character.
Oh, okay.
Like, if it's I can't think of a movie, but if it's some nerdy movie geek, that's trying to whatever, and then the bully keeps getting them, and the girl doesn't, whatever. Then oh man, it's hard to watch that. But like in this and the pool, I didn't necessarily relate to either of them as personally. Yes, that none of them can catch a break. Also, in theory, they there wasn't. They didn't real. I don't want to spoil too much, but they didn't really die. There wasn't. Because I get so dang attached after going through all this battle.
So if they would have died, it would have
Fuck this
ruined
movie.
it? Yeah.
I would have. Yeah, it wouldn't be on my list. I'd have hated it.
Well, I wonder too, because like in the pool, like it's just one dumb circumstance after another that goes wrong for him. Where there's a few moments in the crawl that's like that. Like what spring to mind
for
is
sure.
when the police show up, and you think, okay, things are going to start looking up, and then even the cops don't make it out alive, and
Yeah. No, that movie does it too, but the pool was so.
it's literally just
all it is
a
dominoes.
series of events
That's
that
all
one
it is.
after another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
Maybe
and
that's what
it's
it is.
Never catching a break. It's comical for that too.
Yeah.
But- no, that's a good question. There's definitely a line where I have a hard time with main characters who can't catch a break and liking it and not liking it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that's a thin line for you, because I know
yeah.
we've had discussions on so many movies that you hated just because, and your
It's just
answer
too hard
is,
to watch. Yeah.
yeah, protagonist never caught a break.
Yeah.
Tad, what's your number 4?
Oh man, I'm so excited.
This one I fucking loved, and it came out of left field. I didn't know anything about it before I watched it, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. And it is Bliss.
Oh man.
Joe Bagos. This movie is beautiful and gory and so exciting for me. I just loved every second from the beginning to the end. It's about an artist, a female artist. She's a painter. She's sort of having not a writer's block, but like a creative block. She's having a hard time, and her agent and a curator are really sort of after her about getting her pieces done for a gallery, and she's stressing out, and she's definitely a party animal, definitely irresponsible at times, but she starts sort of getting, I mean, she's a druggie too, but she gets back into using some heavy stuff to sort of cope with the stress, and she does this stuff they call bliss, and it starts fucking her up, and she has a lot of, she hallucinates quite a bit, and so there's a lot of drugs and sex and murder, and
Your three
man, this
favorite
one was-
things.
I fucking love this one, man. The soundtrack was rad, the visuals were rad, the art was rad, the girl's hot, blood and guts, art, demons, everything was so cool about this. It was right up my alley.
Yeah, I really
Nice.
wanted to catch this one. But
Nice. What's
Did anybody else see this one?
I did not, but
Dustin.
you're making it sound awesome.
Yeah, you are.
Oh man, like so cool.
If Dustin was on, he could talk to with you
oh
about
man,
it. Dustin.
Yeah, I won't. Like, there's so much more than what I'm just sort of selling you on the idea of it. But there's some twists that it's more than it sounds like on the surface. But it's sort of cool. You know, she uses this stuff called bliss, and like I said, she hallucinates. Bad shit happens when she's on it, but also like her art gets better. So she has okay, well, you know, the good and the bad. I should probably keep you. It's motivating. It's like an artist. You know, they use drugs, they become more depressed, but their music becomes better. You know, a lot of musicians use drugs as a muse, but yeah, this is set in sort of sleazy part of LA. Has had George Wendt in it, which he plays like a very minor
nice.
character. That was a surprise. There's some like character actors in this. The lead actress, Dora Madison, was really good. She's I remember her from Dexter, but I don't remember her from really much else. But she is perfect. She's sort of like, I just love this because it felt like she was, I don't even know how to explain it, like a female lead that was just badass. Like, she had all these dudes who wanted her and were trying to abuse her and trying to use her, and she was not having any of it. And she's sort of, you know, fucking everything up in her way, and just, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Nice.
awesome.
All right, now we're getting there, folks. It's time for our number threes.
Nope.
What? Oh yeah, me. My number 4. Oops. Sorry. My number 4. Well, we've talked about it a bunch already, but Brightburn. Brightburn is my number 4.
Oh, I knew it'd be in your top 5.
Had to have been, right?
Had to be. It's a comic
Horror
book.
movies mixed with superheroes. Like, come on, right?
Don't get enough of those.
No. So, but I don't know what else to say. I just, it's just good.
Well,
Watch it.
what was your favorite part?
Oh man. Oh,
I mean,
don't
as a
know.
guy who's seen this take on comic book heroes before, how's it stand up with other evil Superman stories or?
Well, really, evil Superman stories where they truly explore like how dangerous it could be has only really ever been done in the medium of comics, and like I feel like this is right up there, and if not surpasses it, because this movie doesn't hold back, or even a comic book, you know, holds back. You know, I just think of like
It's not killing kids, and
I just think of like this one character, you know, Superboy Prime. When they brought that character back, and I won't go into the whole thing, but he just starts obliterating people, like ripping arms off and blowing holes through them, or freezing them to death, and then shattering the ice,
oh my,
and you know, shit like that. But like, never like just taking his mom all the way up into the atmosphere where her face starts to freeze, and then just throws her right back down on Earth. And, you know, it's just, Brightburn really goes for it, and I really appreciate that. And it's just like, how do you stop him? And what's cool is, like, there is a way, just no one could get it done. So,
yeah. Did that ending surprise you? Because it was definitely it wasn't a Hollywood ending.
man, with the plane crash and all that shit. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit, because I mean, there's that little, you know, hope inside of you that like she's gonna actually
Mom's
stop
gonna get
him.
it.
Mom's gonna stop him, but she doesn't. You know, and I love the stuff where he's like, you know, shaking up the house and everything, and
Yeah.
Man, that moment when the dad takes him out into the woods
Oh fuck.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and it doesn't go his way, and you're like, oh, we're all fucked now because now you've just pissed him off.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They draw it out, you know, like making you feel him, because you're like, how do you point a gun at your child. You know,
Right.
And they don't just breeze through it. They pause on that moment, and you have to think about it, and it's rough.
Yeah.
He raised that boy, and he tried to nurture him as best as he could, but he just,
Didn't
Yeah.
turn out so good.
no.
Oh man. Oh, and then he shoots him, and then you're just like,
Nothing.
well, we're all fucked now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought the little dude was awesome too.
Oh, that
The
yeah,
kid, I thought his acting was great.
yeah. Everybody was really solid in it. Yeah,
Yeah, and you're right. That costume's my favorite part.
I love the mask. Yeah,
mask and that tattered sheet cape, and
kind of scarecrowish in
Yeah.
a way. You know, and I don't know, but the comic book side of me can't seem to get past that little tease at the end
oh,
where
'cause
they're
you
like,
want
talking
your
about
team
like,
ups. You
talking
just-
about the fish man,
you just-
and then the woman who hangs people, and I'm like, that's Aquaman, that's Wonder Woman.
yeah, that was cool. The evil versions of all of them. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. You're not gonna let that go ever, are you?
No, not until I get that movie, the Evil Justice League. Oh, now we can move
Now,
on to number 3.
Top three.
Top 3.
Oh,
We're into
my
the
God.
top 3.
So nervous.
Top 3.
So, Andy, what is your number 3 of 2019?
My number 3, and I'm sort of this. I guess this is sort of breaking the rules again because it's based in reality. But my number 3, I love this damn movie so much, and Tad mentioned it earlier, I believe, in the honorable mentions because he says it doesn't really fall under horror, but there's a lot of horrific shit happened in this movie, and it's The Lords of Chaos.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Buckety,
my-
fuck yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, just the prolonged stabbing scene at the end. This is what,
The suicide, man.
Oh,
the
that's suicide. Jesus.
How did I have a couple cats at the house, and I've become a cat lover, even though little fuckers destroy my furniture. And this guy is like, hanging a cat in his room, and I'm just like, oh, you fucking piece of shit. So I didn't really have much sympathy for him when he did commit suicide, but goddamn, when he wanted to go. He got the job done. He wasn't fucking around.
And we saw him blow his face off.
Yes.
After he
Jesus.
slit his wrists and he's already
Yeah,
bleeding all over the place.
Well, Christ, and it's gushing out his arm. He might have sawed his arm off, man. Did you
Oh,
see?
yeah.
He wasn't fucking
He
around.
went to town on that arm, and that's the thing. Like, yes, is it a horror movie? Probably not. It deals with the true story of the church burnings and the black metal bands and that whole scene, and so that kind of tips into horror a little bit. But anybody who associates gore with horror is not going to be disappointed in this movie because the gore is delivered.
They do not pull punches whatsoever. It's just, but this is just how. But in the end, you just saw how these guys are idiots.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
fucking losers.
Oh yeah.
They're just morons.
I just love how this movie takes the piss out of all those guys and just shows them for what they really were.
Yeah, and it's just like they had like these, we're just this, we're the darkest we can be, it's just like they went ahead and they lived by these bullshit ideals which they didn't even fucking believe in the first place. It was all based upon their overinflated egos. As,
Right, it's
like,
a big
these-
pissing contest.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like who's got the biggest dick in the room, and it's just like how they all get their comeuppance. Even though in the end you kind of feel a little bit for Rory Culkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of feel a little bit for him. He's just like he's while the guy's like stabbing the piss out of him. He's just like, me, I just say things. Which is basically the premise of the whole damn movie.
Yep.
It's like all these guys are just talking out of their ass.
Yeah,
But
on all fronts, because even as black metal, as musicians go, they don't play fucking shows. You know, they're not even really a band. Like when at one point in the movie, I stopped and thought about it. It's like, okay, the drummer committed suicide. One of the guys quit. There's only 2 members of this band, of this full band, the big black metal band, and there's only 2 members.
yeah.
And I love that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, just what a Lords of Chaos. I mean, what a that's an ample name for the I guess based on the book and the movie. But Mayhem. I mean, that's what it was. But in the end, it should be subtitled "Fucking Stupid" because that's what they were.
The dorks of chaos.
Yes, but I mean the movie itself I really really love because I mean it's just this car crash of how fucking stupid are we? It's just it needs to be watched once. I mean it makes people were talking about like Motley Crue, The Dirt, and how controversial that was. I mean, watch this. It makes it look like it makes The Dirt look like an episode of Romper Room. I mean, it's nothing.
Well, I watched this movie multiple times. I can't get enough of it. I truly love it. And one of my favorite scenes is when Varg is about to go out and kill the well, it wasn't Varg. Who was it? One of the guys went out who killed the gay man outside the bar. I love the scene, the just juxtaposition of the scene right before that when he's telling his mom he's going out for the night. Like, he's such a badass, right? He's such a, black metal guy, but he still has to tell mommy that he's going to go out for the evening.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then he owns a record store with like the most metal stuff, but his dad's basically paying for it.
Yeah,
yeah. And like you said, at the very end, when he ends up dying, he's been a piece of shit the whole movie. But at that point, he's sort of trying to get out of it. He sort of realized he's a fucking idiot, and he's done with it. He wants it to be in his past, and then it comes back to bite him in the ass. So it's sort of bittersweet.
I mean, it's the price you pay for being a poser, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's very
Out of all the movies on the list, this is the one I saw the most because we played it at the theater, 3 showings a day for a week or something. So I saw it a lot.
Man, I wish I could have seen this in the theater. Damn it.
That'd have been cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the director of the movie, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he was the drummer. He was the drummer for the black metal band Bathory. So, kind of one of the bands that was the influence for the bands that this movie's about.
Yep.
Yeah, and the dude you're talking about, the lead guy, he's on like YouTube, saying this movie isn't true, and of course, like that they're dragging his name through the dirt and stuff. It's like
Varg,
yeah,
he's got a shit ton of YouTube videos. Yeah.
I wonder what John Stalter thinks of this movie.
Oh, I wish he was here. I kind of want to talk to him about it right now. Good pick, Andy. Love that movie so much.
Thank you.
Jason, what's your number 3?
Oh my gosh. My number 3 is Daniel Isn't Real.
Nice. You really like this one, huh?
I did. It was freaking awesome. I had so much fun. It was awesome.
So it's Fight Club?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Troubled college freshman Luke suffers a violent family trauma and resurrects his childhood imaginary friend Daniel to help him cope. Daniel's a fucker.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
absolutely.
Oh man,
He's that little devil on his shoulder.
yeah, that's what it is. He's the little devil on the shoulder. It's cool. He's played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, who is Arnold and Maria Shriver's whatever, their kid, and he's awesome. Directed by Adam Egypt Mortimer.
What's the lead kid's name?
His name is
the actor?
Miles Robbins.
Yeah, he's in the Halloween, new Halloween movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, this
I really liked him in this.
yeah. It's got some, it's great cinematography, a fantastic score. It's beautiful. It's dark and creepy and deep and heavy, and you really feel for this kid trying to do the right thing, and he just has a hard time. And then his imaginary friend does not help anything at all.
No.
But that's kind of what's fun to watch too, like how much trouble can we get everyone in? Yeah, I love
It's like a fucked up horror movie of Drop Dead Fred.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking of that.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of my. I was gonna say it too. I was like, "You son of a bitch! You took it."
Yep. So, I think I just ended up renting it on Prime. It was put out through Spectravision.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood's
Company, yeah.
who did Mandy. Not like that in any way, but
Also
it's
Greasy Strangler.
good though, because Elijah.
It's quality. The only thing it has in common is, good production value overall.
Yeah,
It's cool. And obviously very unique.
very unique.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sidebar here, all you
Okay.
A24 fans
That's me.
in the room, in the
Ted.
Skypes.
Yes, sir.
A24 or Spectravision?
I don't think you have to choose
I
between
think you
them.
because I asked.
I would.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Well, which one's better?
Well, I think.
Personally, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I love both, and I'd recommend both over most film studios because they're both doing
Yeah.
the right thing,
Yeah.
putting money into quality original projects, regardless of where it's going or how much money they can make. Back
Yeah,
off it.
exactly, and that's what the way they look at it. Both companies are looking into it more of like,
Now,
which of these movies need what do these movies need to be made? Not so much what's best for their bottom line.
Now, sure, A24 acquires more films than they straight up produce, and Spectravision's
Straight
seems to
produce.
be all about producing and giving the artist,
Yeah, getting them made.
helping them see their vision through, which you gotta love,
Yeah.
love. So, I mean, the films out of both camps, I love them a lot, but. I mean, there's just more titles in A24 that I love,
Right.
and they put out
Yeah.
Hard to
There's
compare.
5 times as many titles.
It's true. That's
So-
one thing I was going to say. The A24 puts out a lot more.
But Spectravision
Product, but-
I mean, it's they're maybe it's one a year, but they're good quality titles. Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, that was
Yes.
one a few
Yeah.
years ago.
See, and that's because that's my thing. I feel like I'm probably more of a Spectravision person, just because like ratio wise, again, like maybe there might be more A24 films that I like more than Spectre, but like based on percentages of
Oh, yeah.
total output, I'd say I feel like the stuff that Spectravision puts out is kind of more in my wheelhouse, in my range of tastes.
Like their batting average is higher because
Yeah.
you like everything they've put out, maybe more so than A24. While they have more, you don't like as many. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying.
But also Spectravision has a face. They have someone,
That's true.
A24 is just
A letter and a
and
number
a couple numbers. We have Elijah Wood,
Who
and if
you love
know
anyway.
anything about
Yeah.
non-Frodo Elijah Wood, is he loves horror. Mm-hmm. He's
He's
putting
one of us.
his money and time and effort to help filmmakers and his love for cinema is awesome, and it's a person you can champion and root for, and so that makes it easy to like SpectraVision
Sure.
as well. So
Sure, and you're probably right. That has a lot to do with it too. But the fact that you tell me that this is SpectraVision, gets me even more
you're
excited.
suddenly
to see it.
signing right up. Oh yeah, totally recommend it. It's my number 3.
Wow.
3, only 2 better than this one. I think that's how numbers work. I just wrote a bunch down. Anyway, that's mine. Daniel Isn't Real. Check it out. It's good.
Nice. Tad, you're number 3.
Oh man.
Well, man, this could not have been planned more perfectly because the segue just leads right into it. Speaking of A24, my number 3 is Midsummer.
Yeah.
And I will say, if you're comparing the two, I will root for A24 because as a studio in general, and I will say both. I love both, obviously, but
Yeah.
A24 doesn't just make horror movies I like; they make films I like in general. Swiss Army Man is probably my favorite movie the last 10 years. They've done comedies I love.
Right.
They've done dramas. They've done horror. They've done just great stuff I truly love. There's some that didn't make my list that I really loved. A Hole in the Ground was fantastic.
So
they
good.
did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Midsummer was my number 3. This one really moved around my list the entire time I was making it. I still haven't seen the director's cut, so
Me either.
I will. Number 3 is the theatrical cut, but watched this one in the theater. I watched this one in the theater with a group of friends, and we were the only people in the theater, and
Fun.
that was a fun experience, man. Like, what a ride, following these two characters. It starts off as the most grim movie in fucking history.
Oh my,
my God.
gosh.
The dread in the beginning, and then
Ugh.
just the feeling of this couple's relationship being toxic right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So you sort of already, even the worst kind of person can sort of already start to hate this dude in the way he treats his girl. And then they go on this trip, and if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard of Midsummer, I'm shocked because when this was getting promoted and advertised, there was people all over the world. It's like whenever Conor McGregor fights, a bunch of my friends who don't watch fights are like, "Hey, are you having people over for the McGregor fight?" When this came out, people were like, "Hey, are you going to go see Midsummer?" This
I
movie,
know.
Midsummer.
Yeah.
I was
so
really
many
surprised.
normies were tuned
Yeah.
into this movie coming out. Blew my mind.
And it's sort of funny because when they watched it, I'm like, "Oh, please go see it!" Like, I really want
Yeah.
people to go see it because I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it made me think of like when must have been last year when Bird Box hit Netflix. So many people were freaking out about it because when you throw something on Netflix and normies watch it, they're impressed with a little bit less. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Bird Box wasn't necessarily a groundbreaking movie, but to people who see, all they see are Marvel movies or a few movies a year or whatever, they don't go to the theater much, and they don't see much as far as the weird shit we see. They see something like Bird Box, like, whoa, that was really, complex. That was really cool. When I started hearing people talk Midsummer, I'm like, oh man, your world's about to be fucked. And I had so many people asking me about it. They're like, so what do you think of this? What are you gonna go see it? I'm like, of course I'm gonna go see it, and I absolutely loved it, man. Obviously, it's at number 3, and that's not saying any. Like last year, Hereditary was number 1 on my list, and that's not saying that I necessarily like Midsummer less. It's just that there's 2 other movies this year that I liked more, and that's. But Midsummer, I don't know. I don't even necessarily know if I can compare it to Hereditary because they're 2 different monsters, and just there's really no reason other than the director and studio and stuff. But if you don't know what it's about, it's a girl who faces some tragedy at the beginning of the story. Her and her boyfriend and some friends go on a trip to Sweden, and they basically land on a commune and do some drugs, and things get really bad really quick.
Yeah.
There's a bear in a cage, and there's some old people falling off of cliffs.
Universal sign
Oh,
for
that
holy
cliff
shit,
scene.
bear in a
Jesus,
cage.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When we-
I was just want to mention. I just love the fact that some of the members have a. I'll let you tell it, but some of the members have a very large sort of circus test your strength hammer. Let's just say. You know.
yeah. a large mallet,
Yes.
if you
Yes.
will.
Like,
Yeah. And yeah, but the thing is, it's a fucking gorgeous movie, just sort of like Hereditary. But this is even more gorgeous, like the flowers and the
oh my gosh! Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's all
Yeah, sweet.
daytime.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sweden's gorgeous. It's a bright movie. It's that sort of a very big contrast where when shit's getting bad, you're seeing it right in daylight, right in front of your face. Nothing hiding in the shadows. No dark, scary. It's right fucking in front of your face, well lit, and some of the silence in the movie is just like Hereditary is such a killer. There's moments where you just sit in dread, which is always a good
what
time.
a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do get to see a guy eat a ginger pube biscuit or or
Now you have
crotch
Mike's
cake.
attention. All right.
yeah, the carrot crotch cake that he ate. That's
Oh.
There's
C.
and after
Selling it.
seeing it, I found out there was some cool Easter eggs in the movie. So going back to see it, seeing some of the stuff in the background that the director put in, just what a gorgeous movie. Very cool. I loved it. I had my friend Scott saw it in Sweden.
Wow.
whoa.
Yeah, and he said
You got
that-
right on a plane and came right home.
No,
Yeah.
his band was on tour, and they were in Sweden, and he was like, "I'm gonna go see this Midsummer." He didn't know much about it, and then he's like looking around the theater, like, I wonder what they're all thinking of this, because this is what like Americans are gonna think of their country now. Like, this
Yeah.
is what you guys do. You're a cult and you murder people. But yeah, cool movie. I never want to fucking do acid.
Nope.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, this was on my honorable mentions, and I felt like I probably should have worked it into the list, but it's like, to me, I think the original Wicker Man is probably one of the best horror movies ever made.
And this is heavily influenced by that. Clearly,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and it's just like how I felt almost like biased putting it in, but I mean I really enjoyed it. I feel kind of guilty of not putting it somewhere in my top 10 because, like you said, it's a beautiful film. I do think, however, it is a little long. I do think it drags in some places, but I mean that's if it's a good movie, dude, that's forgivable.
No, I completely get what you're saying, and that's what I'm sort of thinking about with I haven't seen a director's cut because I'm like, well, this one was long enough for me. I don't necessarily know if I want to watch a longer version.
Yeah. I mean, I bought the Blu-ray because I wanted to see it. I mean, is that how you watched it? Is that? Or
I
you
think-
saw it in the theater, right?
Yeah,
I
I
saw
saw in the
it, too.
theaters, and the only way to see the director's cut, I think, is on iTunes. They haven't released a physical. Yeah.
Okay.
So you saw the theatrical cut, and there's a cut that's a half hour longer than the one you saw.
Oh my God.
Bring it
I know.
on.
Oh my
I
god.
want it.
Yeah, well, I too got to see this in the theater, and I loved it too. Like, I'm kind of disappointed it didn't make my top 10. It just barely got squeaked out. I definitely had a lot of fun with it, but again, it's like, I'm gonna say, is it the experience of watching it sway it that much? Because I'll tell you, like, I
Well, not
like this
enough.
way better than Hereditary. Other than a couple scenes, Hereditary didn't do very much for me.
You need to watch it.
I
again.
thought that was a super slow burn, and I just couldn't get into it. Where this, I was invested from the get go and all the way through.
Oh, I wished you'd seen Hereditary in the theater, obviously, but
Yeah, but yeah,
and it's
I
not
really
really
liked
one to
this.
throw on at a party.
no,
Hereditary.
Yeah, and if you do, don't fucking serve cake with the walnuts.
There you go. What's
Awesome.
this guy's dude with, like, completely grossing people out with, like, pastries and shit, He's just got, like,
It's true.
anaphylactic shock and then, like, pube biscuits.
Yeah, it's like he's like an anti-baker. He hates
Yeah.
he's prejudiced against bakers.
Baked goods, not good.
Baked bads.
Like when I was trying to think of an intro for the award show. In the past, I've done for the award shows. I've done like little fake sponsors, little jokey jokes. And I was trying to think of some for this episode that tied to some of the movies that came out this year. The only thing I could think of was the Midsummer's Marital Aid, which is a foot to the back. See, but it didn't work.
No,
So,
you're right.
Jason,
Good thing
what did
you
you think of
didn't use that.
Midsummer?
Yeah. Oh, I liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
I have a feeling you're holding back because
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it didn't make my list. I
doubt that shit.
And props to A24. They released an action figure of the bear in a cage, but I was too slow. I did not get one.
Oh no!
They only made like a small batch of them. But there is an A24 shirt out that is like just their logo made of the flat, like the crown, the what did they call her, like the floral queen or something, or the midsummer queen, or I don't remember what they call her, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The lead actress at the end when she wears the crown of flowers, they made a shirt that has the A24 logo made of flowers. It's so cool.
I was
It's on my
hoping,
list for Santa to get me.
I was hoping they would make the impregnate the virgin playset where like the old chubby ladies push on the naked guy's butt and
And go, luckily, we had the theater to ourselves because my friend Noah was like crying. He was laughing so hard during that scene. But to be fair, he also laughed at the end of the Joker. But so he's not someone to
Ugh.
take to a serious
No.
movie. He's a monster.
Leave him at home. He's a sociopath. Come on.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
Awesome.
where the hell even are we, man? Right? Where?
Mike's turn for number 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
My turn for number 3. My number 3 favorite film of 2019 is Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Godzilla makes an appearance.
Yes, I mean, this was my childhood wet dream here. This movie, seeing like big budget, awesome versions of these monsters that I grew up loving and watching, and watching
Amazing
them duke it
versions.
out. This is the best of this whole franchise so far that they've done.
Uh-huh.
And I thought the effects were great, and the fight scenes were freaking amazing.
Amazing.
So
I think I read somewhere someone described this movie perfectly, and this is another one where we just talked about this, where I feel like an experience can change it, because this came out right around the time of the film festival, and I missed it by like a few days. It left the theater
Oh.
right before I could go see it, and to me, I was so sad because I knew no matter how big of a TV I watched it at home, it's just not good. It's not Godzilla. It's not going to be the same as a theater,
yeah,
And I feel like I would have absolutely loved this one. Mike Dougherty directed it. I fucking loved him.
yes,
One of my favorite humans alive. He got a huge studio opportunity, and it's gorgeous. But I think what I was talking about when I read earlier, someone called it concept art the movie, and I love that because it's
For
like
real.
yeah, because it looks like when you get one of those books they make of like the art of Godzilla and all the stuff is so gorgeous. Like he put that on screen. It looked like concept art put right on screen, and it was
True.
gorgeous. Like,
yeah. A lot of those scenes, like when Mothra reveals herself under the waterfall. That's definitely one of those moments. And, yeah, there's a lot of that. I can agree with that. Well, it's also just great too because I feel like you really get to see the fight scenes in this.
Yeah.
It's not like super close-up shaky cam or shot at night in the rain.
Yeah, I think they must have listened to the criticisms from the first movie where people felt like they got cheated out of seeing Godzilla really at all. It was tough to see him. When you did, it was close up, or you didn't get the whole thing.
Well, screw the haters, because like I remember when that movie came out, and I like that movie a lot too.
Yeah.
The first Godzilla one came out.
Love it.
And people were hating it because they said it was like, too much story, not enough monsters. And then when this one comes out, it flips. Everybody's saying there's too much action, not enough story. I'm like, make up your effing mind already.
It's Godzilla, man. Like, just
Right.
give us fucking rad fights. Like, if you're complaining about not enough story, have you ever seen Godzilla? Come on.
Yeah. Why do you want more Godzilla? Why do you want more story in a movie about giant monsters fighting each other? Why would you want more story?
Right.
And I felt like the story was pretty solid.
Definitely.
I was behind everything that was going on, and it all made sense, and was a nice tight universe of everything.
Apparently, they want Woody Allen to write a fucking Godzilla flick.
I'd watch that.
Tarantino.
Yes.
A lot of
Yeah.
the talking Godzilla.
An Afro Mecha Godzilla played by Sam Jackson.
Godzilla using the N-word all the time. Yeah.
A lot of close-up shots of Godzilla's feet.
But anyway, and let's compare it to the old Japanese movies too, where like there was all these human talking scenes that just drag on.
On
like,
and on and
let's get to the fighting, and this delivered everything I ever want. Again, everything I ever wanted as a child. Let's get rid of all the people just standing around talking about how they're going to solve the problem, and just get straight into monsters finding each other. And it just delivered so well. And
the most gorgeous monsters you've ever seen in your life.
And yet,
on screen.
true to the original designs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some upgrades, but I can look at that and I'm like, yes, that is Mothra. Yes, that's King Ghidorah. Yes, that's Godzilla. Unlike the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, where it's like, yes, that's
We don't talk about
iguana.
Yeah. But also true to original ideas. I think this movie has one of the best soundtracks of the year.
Oh yeah,
It's incredible.
It is-
and
yeah.
a lot of the tracks use the themes in
They
ways
incorporated
from the,
some of that original.
Oh, man, that's where I wish Brian was here.
Here we go. It's another time we
So,
need Brian.
I mean,
here.
we don't have time for Brian to talk about Godzilla, but
That'd be a whole part 3 episode.
it would. But oh man, this movie just barely missed my top 10. It was so freaking good.
Brian's top 10 would be top 10 scenes from this movie.
Yes, it probably would be.
It's interesting because I know, we had Michael Rowland on the show before, and
Yeah.
he is a huge Godzilla fan, and I introduced him to Brian through the show, and now they talk outside of me probably more than either of them talk to me. And
It's all about Godzilla.
when this came out, Brian was the most vocal supporter of this movie leading up to it. Then when he saw it, it lived up to his expectations. He loved it. And then Michael messaged me. He's like, I'm afraid to even talk to Brian about anything because this is going to come up and I didn't like it.
Oh,
And I'm afraid, he's like, even if we talk about anything else, it's eventually going to have to come to
Yeah.
what did you think of this? And I don't want to tell Brian I didn't like it. And I'm like,
Friendship might be over.
but that's the thing, like, we can sit here and talk, like, I didn't like the Furies or whatever, but me and Andy are still good buddies. That's okay. Like, and you don't, last year, he didn't, or 2 years ago, he didn't like Get Out, and I still love the guy. I don't care.
I'm working through it. I'm working
what's
through
great.
it.
What's great about this list is that, like,
Yeah.
Godzilla wasn't, even on the radar for me, or certain ones. We all have such different tastes, but it's so much
Yeah.
fun talking about it.
But a lot of our
Great.
tastes coincide too. I mean, we still like a lot of the same things as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of Brian's tastes too, and if he was the type of person that wouldn't be friends with somebody because they didn't like movies he liked, he wouldn't have any friends.
He wouldn't have no friends.
Right.
See to Chucky. Anyway,
Oh,
I'm just imagining myself right now.
him listening.
Him listening.
Just waiting. He's just waiting.
There's
Hey,
gonna
Brian.
be comments galore.
Brian, I miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we missed you, buddy. Okay, so moving on to number 2. We're down to the top 2. Andy, what do you got for number 2?
My number 2 is probably the most fun that I had at the theater all year, and it's Ready or Not.
Woo!
Ow!
Just the whole idea about this bride having to fight this family that she just married into, until the break of dawn because they had made a pact with Satan. And she has a great quote, just like, because she's going through the night, it's like fucking rich people, and it's got a lot of great stuff in it. It's got like this really, really reluctant son that's like, I think he's like hammered like all the time, and he's a recognizable actor, but I can't place his name right now. And he's trying to help her, he'd give her like 30 seconds, it's just like, I don't even want to kill you, but we have to. It's because of our pact that we made, and it's not really scary per se, but it's really a hell of a lot of fun because she's just playing hide and seek with these people because that's the game that she had to choose because it's their family tradition. Yeah, their tradition. When somebody else, gets married or married into the family, the spouse has to play with them in a game at midnight, and it's just all chosen at random. And she happens to pick hide and seek, but the hide and seek that she's thinks she's playing, it's like the kids, like the kids game, but it's not. But the hide and seek that they're playing means that they have until dawn to find her, to sacrifice her to Satan, or they all die. So that's why this family is trying to kill this poor new bride played by Samara Weaving, which I have yet to see a film that she's in that I dislike, and a series. Yeah. But yeah, I'll turn you guys loose on it. I really, really, really like this movie.
Yeah, I love this one too. What a blast, literally and figuratively. And I'm right behind you with Samara Weaving. Fantastic. She's bubbly. She almost plays like a cartoon character because her eyes are so big. Her features are so exaggerated, but she's gorgeous. Like, yeah, she's so rad in this movie. Like the what is it? Radio Silence that directed this. Good for them. They did some of the cool. They were in VH. I think they did a segment VHS, VHS2. Cool to see indie guys get a chance to do a big movie and then have it be so good and have such a good reception and have it do well at the box office. Original horror done by indie guys succeeding. That's great. We need more of that. That's exactly what we need. And seeing her like in the wedding dress with the Chucks on, like what a cool, I don't know, man. Everything about this just was perfect for me. So I loved it too.
Me too. So much fun. It kind of blows my mind. It's not on Mike's list yet, just because there's so much comedy. The comedy's so great in it.
Yes.
I laughed my ass off.
And I don't know if you haven't seen this one, I will not spoil the ending, but the ending is like a huge risk because it could have gone either the way it did, or it could have been just horrible and ruined the movie. And I thought it hit it right on the mark, and it was so perfect. I love the ending. Loved every second of this one. I can't even think of anything I would fault of this movie. The movie defenders would be proud of us because I love this one. I don't have a single bad thing to complain about this one.
Agreed. It's a great friggin' movie. I mean, it's going on the shelf. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be bought.
And it did come out already, right?
Yeah.
It just came out.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I need
just recently, a couple of weeks ago or something.
So by the time this comes out, it'll definitely be out. Hopefully, you all got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite scenes or kills or?
Oh, some of my favorite scenes and kills are basically the ones that happen by accident, because it's like
Yes,
this
that's what I was thinking too.
the coked up I guess the sister-in-law in this case, the coked up sister-in-law just keeps fucking up and killing the wrong people, and it's
Yeah, doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, she's had no idea how to work any kind of weapon whatsoever. She has no idea, like, where, like, she has to, like, literally be told, like, where the dangerous end of the weapon is. I mean, she's just completely clueless. And she's probably, like, in a weird sort of way, I mean, she's kind of like our protagonist, like, biggest savior, because she keeps fucking up just all the time and just it ends up saving the bride's skin. It's just...
Take that crossbow away from her.
Oh,
Please.
man, it's so much fun. This movie is... it's so much fun. I can't recommend this enough. I'm gonna make the wife watch it because I think she'll get a kick out of it.
Definitely
Yeah,
has
I'm
a
excited
universal
to
appeal.
revisit.
Yeah.
I'm excited to revisit this one again after seeing it in theaters. What a blast!
Super excited to see Andy McDowell kicking ass in a good role still. She's awesome. I think she was the mom, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and Adam Brody. Like, I mentioned this
Yes.
movie to someone the other day when we were talking movies, and they're like, "Oh, the Adam Brody movie," and I'm like, "No." And then they're like, they got out their phone. They're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't call this an Adam Brody movie. This is a Samara Weaving movie."
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Like, if you watched
Yeah.
this and thought, "Oh, this is an Adam Brody movie," you didn't watch it. Come on.
Truth.
I mean, it's so zany that you don't even. It's like part of you wants to suspend your disbelief, but then you have like you said, the sister-in-law that's accidentally killing people because she doesn't know how things work. That's how if you were thrown into a situation, that's what would happen, because these rich assholes would not know how to use a crossbow or some of these, because they have to use the weapons that are given to them in that room, the specific time period weapons, and that's what's so much fun about it.
Yeah, they're running around with like muskets and like you said, crossbows and shit like that. And,
There's like a big battle axe, I think, at some point.
yeah. It's very, very primal type stuff. There's nothing really modern about it, but
And every time you think she's on her way out and almost escaped, something brings her back in. And there's a lot of good tense moments, but a lot of great humor too. It's a perfect balance. I think these guys are doing, the Radio Silence guys are doing a new movie with the Lord, like Chris Lord, the guys that did like a Lego movie, I think. They're doing a new movie together, so they've made it. They're doing big things now, so good for them.
great.
Yeah.
Gosh, I
That's
didn't.
fun.
Yeah, I didn't realize the budget was as low as it was. It was only $6 million, and it says cumulative worldwide gross $57 million. Yeah, that did well.
Yes.
Holy moly!
And I think this was right. I'm trying to think of what studio did this, but this was right. Maybe it was Fox Searchlight or something. And I think it was, if I'm thinking right, or maybe Sony or one. Basically, the studio was merging with another studio or closing up shop right as this was getting made. So it literally like snuck right under the deadline and got sort of. It just barely made it. You know what I mean? Like it was so close to not happening because of some studio bullshit that was happening behind the scenes that it just snuck right in perfect timing. All the things aligned. It made it right in there, and yeah, perfect. I'm so glad it happened. Perfect storm. Sometimes things work out.
Good pick, Andy.
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. Well, I guess I'll say my number 2.
What's your number 2, Jason?
Oh man. Well, I know where to rank this movie, and Mike doesn't. One Cut of the Dead is my number 2.
Nice.
I had so much freaking fun with this movie. It was incredible. We definitely ranted and raved about it last episode, but
Yeah, when you told me you were getting ready to watch it, I was like, all right, well, be ready to rearrange your list, buddy, because I know it's going on there.
Uh-huh. Oh, had to. It couldn't not make the list. Oh, it's so good. And that when it's it just leaves you feeling so good when it's done. You know, it's just the movie obviously has so much heart, and it just shows and comes through on screen, and it's just I'm blown away how good it was.
It's a rarity when you get a horror film that feels like a triumph at the end. You know, you're just so happy. I mean, it's like it's kind of like, you know, it's like you watched a zombie version of Rocky. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, it does though.
Shudder gave this one the most heartwarming 37-minute single take.
Aww. Wow, now I'm looking at its box office. It was roughly made for $25,000, and it's made over $25 million.
Wow, good for them.
Good for them.
I don't think it did much in theaters here, but over there it did
over there.
great. So
Lots of yen.
A lot of yen. And you can watch it on the awesome streaming service Shudder
yes,
for free. Definitely check it out. It is just amazing. Just so badass. I don't know what else to say. It's wonderful.
I mean, yeah.
All right, I guess that moves us on to Tad. Oh my gosh, it's number 2.
can you even fathom what might be up here? Because I've
been
listed
trying to
some
narrow it
great
down.
stuff.
I know. I've seen your list of what you've watched. I've been trying to narrow it down. What could it possibly be?
Number 2 for me was Doctor Sleep.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really, really, really like
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, man. I didn't realize you dug it that much, but yeah, cool, man.
It was undeniable for me. Seeing it in theaters and really taken by surprise. I won't go too much into it because I think we've talked about it at least twice or 3 times because it's been on a lot of other lists. Who would have thought that in 2019 I would be listing a sequel to The Shining as my number 2 favorite movie of the year? But it's so well done, and I loved it. So, yeah.
Heck yeah.
I don't know what else I can say that we haven't already. We just, like I said, we talked about it, so I don't really have a whole lot more to add to it. Just for me, it was really a great watch.
Well, where does The Shining fall on your all-time faves? Is it?
Well, it's pretty far up there. I wouldn't say top 5 by any means, but if top 15 or 20, somewhere up there.
I'd agree. That'd probably be somewhere in my landscape of horror film.
Yeah, clearly I have an affinity for it. I've based 2 Halloween costumes on it. I've been Jack Torrance with the door attached to my face, and I was one of the Grady sisters. So I've been trying to figure out how else I can do costumes from this movie, but my wife will not let me dress up as a bear that's giving a blowjob. So, yeah. So
she will, but she just won't let you do it in public.
Right. Yeah, we have to do it behind closed doors. Or I could just be just a carpet pattern, and she could be like Danny on a tricycle or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really dug the shit out of this movie.
Man, I gotta see it.
Do you have a favorite scene or anything you're surprised by?
The one that stuck out obviously was the same one that Andy talked about, where they kill the kid. Take him the kid that baseball glove. That's a memorable one because it goes where a lot of movies won't go. And I loved when the first scene where sort of Abram shows off her strengths by going after the hat, and when she's at the grocery store and throws her into the cooler, that was badass.
yeah.
Because she just sort of
Very
stood
cool.
up and was defeated for the first time. You know, so a character you knew the entire movie has never really felt any kind of resistance or defeat. She's always been the most strong. She's always felt in control. And then there's this fucking kid that's making her look like an idiot in
Yeah, it
public.
just puts her straight on her ass.
Right. And then she knows she's in for a world of hurt. And obviously I liked all the cool stuff, attachments to the Kubrick Shining, but I think what I was most impressed by was the fact that, you know, it wasn't, I didn't love it because of that. Like, I loved it just on its own merit. You know, even up until they went to the hotel, it was just
Overlook.
yeah, the Overlook is just I don't know, like just a good damn movie all around. Great performances. Cared about the characters. Everybody was great. Well directed. Very cool.
And the lady in the tub is always effective. Like because the bathroom that I have in my house is kind of set up like that, with the curtain that just kind of pulls away, and like I'll wake up like for about a week, I'd like wake up at like 2 a.m. to like go in there and take a whiz, and like the curtain would be like slightly pulled back, and I'm like, oh dude, fuck you. You're lucky. I'm lucky I have to pee like really, really bad like right now, because like, and I was just like, I'm like in the corner of my eye, I'm like looking at the tub and like trying not to piss on the floor, and I'm just like, oh my god, what are you, like 10 years old? Take a piss and go to bed, you pussy. You know.
Yeah, we always leave the curtain open for a good reason.
Yeah. Seen too many movies.
Yep.
Doctor Sleep, that's awesome.
Very
Very
cool.
Oh.
Jinx. Damn it.
Double jinx.
So now it's to me, right? Number 2?
Yep.
That's right.
My number 2. You know, it's been said, is it horror? I don't know, but it was on Andy's list, so I'm gonna stop apologizing. Lords of Chaos is my number 2.
Number 2.
Freaking
Wow.
love this movie.
You've probably watched this one the most.
I have. I've watched it at least 3 or 4 times this year. And I want to watch it again right now. I really, really love this movie. And so, even if this wasn't like a top 10 horror, like top 10 movies of the entire year, it would still be super high on my list.
It's just your love for black metal.
Well, yeah, there's that.
But
Well, what's interesting is that, like, I watched this movie and
Love
it
for
got me...
Norwegians.
Yeah. It got me way into wanting to know more about the true story and all these bands and all that. And
Pick up the book.
well, last podcast on the left did a really cool series on the whole thing too, on the church burnings and the murders and stuff. So there was that. I didn't read the book, but I watched that one documentary. I forget the name of it, but it's super boring as hell. It's not a very good doc. So after that doc, I was like, okay, I think I've had enough. But, you know, and I'm not going to say I like black metal per se. That's a subgenre I've gotten into, but I'm definitely a metal fan, some death metal and stuff like that. So it kind of, you know, it kind of spoke to me in that metalhead kind of way a little bit. But, like, what I really like about this movie is I'm also, you know, I'm a Scorsese fan, and to me this felt like a punk version of a Scorsese film. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of narrative, you know, a lot of voiceover by the main character throughout the film. Just kind of like and kind of jumping all over the timeline. Just like in movies like Casino or Goodfellas and stuff like that. So, it kind of had a little bit of a Scorsese vibe to me, but based more on a subject matter that I could maybe relate to a little bit better than like Mafia or Corrupt Casinos or whatever. Again, I love how they didn't glamorize these guys, they really showed them for what they were. And it's interesting. I was just now reading on IMDb, just to kind of show you how much more of nerds that they were, more than just badass devil worshippers. Is Euronymous? And throughout the movie, you see him like drinking and partying a lot, but Euronymous wasn't a big drinker, and he actually drank tons and tons of Coca-Cola instead of alcohol. So I'm just imagining these guys, with their with their Cheetos and Mountain Dew, sitting around playing D&D and thinking that they're the coolest metal band on the planet. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's an eye-opening movie. It's a fun movie. It's a lot of fun, and it's also I can't reiterate enough how much I like how they just take the piss out of these guys and show them, because when I remember when the church burnings happened and stuff, it just seemed like some scary ass shit, and come to find out it's just a bunch of punk kids who wanted to pretend to be badasses. So I cannot recommend this movie enough. Lord's Chaos is amazing, and I've always I've always been a fan of Rory Culkin. He's awesome in Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. I'll take him over Macaulay any day. Sorry, Macaulay.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Culkin.
You only know those two.
And as we speak, it's the region-free Blu-ray is only $10 right now on Amazon Prime. So
nice. Who put out the Blu-ray?
Oh, damn it! I'm looking right now.
Arrow
The
put
item
one.
requires special handling and cannot be shipped to your selected location. You bastards! It's Arrow, by the way. It's
Oh, even better.
region-free as well.
Nice.
And just to clear up any confusion, Kieran Culkin is in Scott Pilgrim. Rory Culkin is in Lords of Chaos.
Boom.
Really? I thought that was Rory in. Well, what other movie was Rory in?
I don't know. I'd have to do an IMDb search.
Oh, Jason's right there. He's pulling it up as we speak. Signs.
Mean Creek.
Yeah, he was
Scream
a little
4.
tiny.
Yeah.
Kieran's probably like he's worked quite a bit, and he's been up for Golden Globes like the last 2 or 3 years for a series he's doing. But yeah, Rory's in. Oh, I forgot he was in Scream 4 as
Oh,
the
that's
movie,
right.
the movie nerd. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Get your Culkin straight.
I stand corrected. I'm highly embarrassed now that I don't know McCulkins.
You're sulking over the Culkin.
With that note, let's move on to our number ones quickly. All right, so
boy.
this
Oh
is
my
it,
gosh,
folks.
I'm so nervous.
Number one. It's time for the number ones. Andy, what is your number one
I can
movie?
just add this in later. I don't
This is gonna seem very uneventful because it's been mentioned so many times. My number one is One Cut of the Dead.
Oh, damn. So
I
Andy and
want
I
the-
know where to list this.
Oh, fuckers. Yeah, that's fine.
I was so ready to say Three from Hell just to piss you guys off.
Oh, I would have too. I'm so pissed.
But no, this film it was just so good. I recommend anybody see. I mean, I wouldn't recommend everybody see Lords of Chaos because it's not for everybody. But
Nope.
in my first two, I would recommend anybody to see Ready or Not and One Cut of the Dead. Even if you're not really a horror movie fan per se, but I mean, I don't think I can really say much more about how good. I don't think I need to sell it anymore. I mean, we've pretty much said, go see this movie or you're freaking dumb. If you don't like
You're just dumb.
Can we put that on the poster?
Yeah.
See this movie or you're fucking dumb.
He's not
But
wrong.
yeah, that's
No, he's
that's
not
all
wrong.
that's all I gotta say. See this movie. One Cut of the Dead. That's my number one pick. No, I can't really say much more.
So glad you loved it.
Oh man, I really. Oh, you guys keep rubbing it in, but I really.
It's not too late, Mike.
When we post these lists later, mine might be different from what you've heard on the show.
No, you can't change it. It's forever.
I can do what I won't. Damn.
I know.
It's on all four of our. Well, it's on all but Tad's list, but he put it on last year's. So
Yep.
again, folks, that's just how good.
It's
4 out of 4 podcasters agree.
AOTKP approved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason, it's time for your
Number
Number-
1.
one.
Well, it's gonna be a shocker. I can't even form the words 3 from hell. I don't even know how anyone could do that. Oh my gosh. It's Hanukkah. I'm just kidding, Tad. Oh. Well, 2 years in a row, Ari Aster, speaking my language.
I don't even know why I hesitated.
I know. How did you? It seems obvious, but this is what a masterpiece. It's just like his last one. I mean, I hate that you instantly just compare, but I mean, Hereditary blew my socks off. So I like it more, but Midsummer was incredible to me. It was, you're watching this movie and you're like, this fucking guy is making art. This guy here, you watch this movie and you're like, there were no compromises. He's getting to make art for you. And man, it's so fun to watch. The score is chilling. Those violins, you'll hear it 1 second and you'll be like, fuck that. I've had enough of this score. Yet, it's so good.
Yeah, it might be. I forgot about the score. That might rank up there.
And I got it instantly, obviously, and I tried listening to it a few times, and I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, it's like up there
Right
with
now.
Requiem for a Dream score
Yeah.
or Cannibal Holocaust as being like the scores that send chills up my spine.
I want
whenever
to feel
hear.
weird and uncomfortable.
Unsettling.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's so good. So effective. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, we just touched on it earlier, but I got so excited that it was sweeping the normie world.
Yeah, it was just
How
weird.
crazy was that? That
Just
like
weird.
normies I haven't talked to forever are like, are you going to see this movie? And I'm like, how do you even fucking know about it?
How many of those normies that you talked to were also complaining that it was spelled wrong?
Well, no, but
Oh, okay.
they'd all try to say it cool.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go see Midsommar?
Yeah, no, they would. They were trying to sound cool. I'm like, it's Midsummer. Just say it like a word. Anyway, but and it just got me so excited that like, and having not seen it even, I was just excited. I just knew. I mean, I knew it would be completely different, and it is completely different than Hereditary, but it got me so excited that just no normie could possibly have been prepared for what they were about to see. And then from the moment of the old couple at the Rock, you're just like, oh, how powerful was that scene? Like, they don't cut away from shit. Like, there's no jump scares in this movie. And
Yep,
that's
that's
one
true.
thing that I love about it is like,
It's all tension building.
right, he handcuffs you to this chair, and it's like what's the movie with the needle, with the and the I'm making
I
a lot
wish
of
this
head
was a
gestures.
visual medium here. If you could see what I just saw.
Say the Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, so like he handcuffs you to this chair, Ari Aster does, and he forces you to watch this ride, and It's so slow and so deliberate, and it lures you in because it's so beautiful. You can't help but just soak it in, and you can't. And he doesn't scare you away with jump scares, and it's so matter of fact. And these moments, I mean, the Rock, like it had been not a horror movie for so long. By the time we get to the Rock scene, you're just like, something fucking gonna happen here. Something's gonna happen soon, and it does.
Well, yeah, you go into it knowing something's going to happen.
This is gonna be fucked, right?
Yeah.
There's no way they're playing it like, oh, this is a fun vacation. Oh no.
You know what you're getting
It
into, and
can't.
that's part of the tension building of this movie
When is
and
it
how it
gonna
progresses. And this is a movie where I feel like the slow burn works, and the slow
Oh.
burn helps drive the story, because you're sitting there and it's like, you know, something will happen, and you're like, well, that's a little weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, well, you know, whatever. And then
just,
it's like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. And then next thing you know, boom, old man hits the pavement, and you're like, what the fuck? And then it just progressively just gets darker, and and you're sitting there thinking, well, they could still get, and then
Yeah.
it's like, no,
Uh-huh.
no,
No.
they could still get away, no,
Well,
and it
maybe
just progressively just gets
maybe it is
darker
okay. It's
and
part of their history. Maybe
grimmer, and
And
Oh.
for me,
that's how you do a slow burn.
Yeah, without spoiling, those who've seen it will probably remember the scene. But as it's constantly climbing this hill of tension and fucked upness, it all came down to the pinnacle of what I loved about how this movie makes you feel is that scene where it's near the end and shit's gone fucking crazy, and I think it's the main girl, right? She's walking around and she comes into this shed, and then there's the guy that's above the plants, and you're just following her perspective. There's no jump. It's just matter of fact. You just turn on it, and you're forced to see the most awful and crazy and unimaginable situation, and you can't breathe, and you can't back up, and you are forced to stare at it, and it's the scariest thing you've ever seen in your life, but you don't even know what you're looking at
Yeah.
for the first few minutes, and you're just like,
There's a lot of that, though, I felt
my
like. Of
God, I
like,
loved it.
I don't get a full perspective of what I'm looking at, and it's freaking me the F out. Like in the scene at night when the guy goes into the...
Churchy thing
Yeah.
with the book and the...
And things are not going well.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
sure what's actually happening.
you don't really know, and you're just along for his ride,
Yeah.
and you're in the palm of his hands, and definitely my favorite director in the last 2 years. Easy. There's no doubt that this was clearly my number one. Just for the, like, I'm watching my new favorite director make movies right now, and every choice he makes is just, I love it. Not because it's what I want. I just, you're just like, I'm clearly watching this fucking kid, out of film school, just
Punk.
making fucking art,
Punk ass.
man, and I love it. So, Midsummer, hands down, Ari Aster 2 years straight. Can't wait to see what's next. Or I can wait.
Is he working on anything?
Let me click on some things. I'm sure he is. How's
Click.
this guy not?
Click.
Oh,
No.
nothing.
I think he said he wanted to do a comedy.
Fuck yeah, bring it on. Because that's
I
going
would
to
be
be fucked.
interested to see his take on comedy, yes. And to be honest, about damn time. That's where he loses me. I have to have some levity in my horror. I have to.
Yeah. Top that, Tad. Oh my God, Tad's number one. I can't wait. I waited all damn year. What's it going to be? I've looked at his list 100 fucking times. I'm like,
You can't
and
figure it
he's
out.
been
can you?
crossing them off, and I'm like, well, that's not it now. Oh, it's not that now.
Well, Mike sort of had a nice little segue there with the levity thing. My number one is Ready or Not.
Hot damn!
Nice.
Fucking loved it, man. I had a blast at the theater. I
Number
went
one,
out,
Wow.
walked out of the theater super pumped.
Right?
This never left my number one spot. Everything else sort of shuffled around this movie. Most fun I had at the theater all year. Most fun I had watching a movie all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this
Absolutely,
one kicked
dude.
so much ass. What an ending. What a fun. Yeah,
It was the perfect ending.
yeah. They nailed it. So, not much else I can say because we just talked about it like 5 minutes ago because it was at the top of Andy's list too, and I'm glad that I think we all enjoyed this one. And
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to pipe in on this one, so I'll just say I loved it too. It's maybe one of those that I regret it not being in the top 10. I really feel like, I mean, it's totally in my wheelhouse. I mean, Jason was trying to guess my number one the other day.
Oh yeah, and I name off 5 comedies, and they're not on his
And
list.
none
I'm like,
of
what the fuck?
like-
is that?
Yeah,
And Ready or Not, I lost my shit. I would have
No,
bet everything on.
I'm upset I didn't see this in the theater with people because I know I would have it would have been a blast because when I watched it by myself
Oh yeah.
for the show, I was laughing out loud, you know. And if you can get me to laugh out loud while I'm by myself watching something, you know, that's a true testimony to the comedy. And the comedy just comes out of the situation of the characters, and that some of those family members are so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just great, and you know, oh yeah, really fun, really funny,
love watching rich assholes get fucked up.
and there's that too. Yes,
It is gratifying.
it
I'm
is.
not gonna lie.
It is a very cathartic for the kind of the state of the world we're in right now.
Yep.
All right. That leaves me.
What's your number one, Mike?
My number one, my favorite, and this is kind of the same thing like you said, Tad, with Ready or Not. Like, everything else kept moving around, but this kind of still stayed at the number one. Now, I'll say it again. I know I'm going to get called out for being biased on this, because it is, and I'll admit there's some biasness to it. You know, seeing it in the theater with the filmmakers, seeing it in the theater with the filmmakers who happen to be friends of mine. But it doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed the shit out of this movie from beginning to end. And my number one movie of the year is Haunt. This movie was totally within my realm of horror that I love. I mean, it felt like an 80s slasher film without purposely forcing the 80s isms down our throat. You know, it just uses those same tropes instead of trying to match the look and the feel or the retro-ness of it. You know, it's just telling another story within that subgenre by people who get what that subgenre is like.
No kids on bikes.
Exactly, no kids on bikes. Exactly.
Modernize what we love, and just go from there.
Exactly. And the fact that it takes place at like a haunted house attraction, I've said it for years, I love that environment. I love movies that are set in that environment, and this is the best example of that. This blows Tobe Hooper's Funhouse out of the water. It beats Funhouse Massacre. Because what even though Funhouse Massacre is a great movie and it's a lot of fun, but what separates Haunt from Funhouse Massacre is the haunted attraction in Haunt is what a haunted attraction in a rural Iowa town freaking looks like.
Yeah.
What it looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like. You know, in like Funhouse Massacre, you have like there's carnival games outside, there's radio DJs, you know, and it's this big, huge, elaborate. It's like, no, that's not real. This is what a haunt is. This is what a small town haunt really looks like. And I loved the bad guys in this. You know, I've always been the sayer of like, you put a maniac in a movie in a mask, you better not talk. Your Jasons, your Michaels, but the fact that these guys talk, it's minimalistic, but it's like, I think it makes them creepier, which I didn't think was possible, and the taking off the mask, which I didn't want either, and the taking off the mask is creepier. I love the whole concept of altering their looks to match their masks, and the makeup on those are so cool looking, so good. A lot of the traps and kills and gores were great. They did a great job with the gore. Oh, there was even some cringeworthy moments for me. The guy that's seen just about everything, and I'm cringing at some moments. So, yes, I feel like I'm justified in picking this as my number one, and not just the fact that it's a personal pick, but that the movie itself holds up to it.
Yeah, don't apologize for loving something, man. I'm glad to see this on a lot of lists. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a huge champion for this movie. Huge champion. Wish more people would see it, and I wish they'd put it out on freaking Blu-ray. They put it out on DVD, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They just got scared at the last minute.
Something. It's just too bad.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
It's sort of getting more and more common with these like smaller indies. I think sometimes a lot of these, like when you order the DVD from Amazon, they're DVRs. Like they're like burn on demand. They basically have a file, they burn it to the DVD and send it to you in a case.
Oh man, I hope that's not a
Thing.
growing trend.
Yeah.
Half of the reason why we buy the physical is for cool boxes and nice pressed discs and
Yeah, features.
yeah. Special features, yeah. All right, so that's all of our top tens, man. All of our top tens, and here you go, Jason. I've been keeping track through the episode, so we don't get that
I don't have to bug you.
email later of like, "Hey, I need your guys' top tens." I kept track throughout the show. I kind of wanted to do the math and like the top 5 films of all time based on where they placed on people's lists and how many times they showed up on the list and stuff. But that's math, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No. All right, so
God, is it really over?
man,
We did a lot of work. Watched a lot of movies.
well, is there any movies that we
There are some that we...
There's a couple that I feel
flip
like I'm kind of bummed we didn't touch base on in any of our episodes. Like, I don't think we talked about Little Monsters at all, did we?
Yeah, we did not.
No.
That was way better than I thought it would be. Like, the trailer seemed okay when I first watched it, but then when I watched the movie, I thought it was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. You get tired of zombie movies, right? But this is a pretty fun little zombie film.
Yeah.
You got kids in peril, which is always nice. And you got God dang it, what's that guy's name? What's that comedian's name that plays the
Josh Gad.
Yeah, Josh Gad. I always enjoy him, and it was cool seeing him get torn apart.
Yeah, we didn't... Annabelle Comes Home. That didn't come up at all.
No,
Really?
and I still haven't seen the first 2 Annabelle movies, but I liked this one. It felt like it could have been a Conjuring sequel instead of an Annabelle sequel.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. Got to see the Warrens and the daughter, and it took place in the house.
Exploring
and
that
around the
room
house.
even
Yep.
more, which is what I want out of this universe, is exploring more of that room and what's in the room.
I thought Happy Death Day to You was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's hard to believe it didn't make your list too, Mike.
I love this franchise. I'm bummed there's not going to be more of them. I really like the second one. My my one complaint about it is that it felt inconsistent with the horror elements. I think I said this when we talked about it on the show before, that it felt like at times it forgot it was a horror franchise, and so they like kind of forced the killer to show up from here and there for no reason. So I love this movie, but probably more for the world that it's in and the comedy of it more than it being a horror film. But.
Another one that across the board we all saw and hasn't been mentioned is Ma.
Yes,
Blumhouse.
That was one of the last ones I got around to watching. What'd you guys think of Ma?
I didn't love it or hate it. I say I liked it. But obviously not top of my list anywhere, even in my honorable mentions. I thought it
was
got
totally
a little boring
good
towards the end, but yeah,
I thought it was okay. It was solid. I mean,
Yeah.
but, I mean, it wasn't. It didn't blow me away, and I didn't hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay, and I think like some of us can appreciate the small townness of it, where everybody in town is who we went to school with, kind of thing. But my thing is like, how come she didn't pull any of this shit sooner? Since she's living in this town, surrounded by the people that did her wrong back in high school, and was it Juliette Lewis's daughter that was the motivation for her to finally get revenge on everybody that.
I felt like it was motivated like the story unfolded. Like she probably would have just went on being weird.
Yeah.
But it was them kids asking her to buy beer that really started this whole thing, and
And the fact that she was feeling accepted.
Yeah, she became the cool kid finally, just by opportunity,
Okay. I'll take it.
yeah.
I would say a few on my list that I was surprised that no one else saw The Prodigy. I saw that one in theaters, and that was cool. I think you guys would dig that one, so try to check that out if you have a chance.
I will.
About a little kid that's not what he seems. I won't say anything else about that.
Spoiler: they're all not what they seem.
Wounds on Hulu was a cool one with
Yeah, it
Armie
was.
Hammer.
Wounds was awesome.
Yeah, really good. Another one I saw was Villains with Micah Monroe and Skarsgård that plays Pennywise. They're like a couple that basically robs a convenience store, and while they're running away, their car breaks down, and so they break into a house to steal a new car. And the house they break into is owned by some fucked up people because they find a little kid chained in the basement, and that's just the beginning. And then that's like the first 5 minutes.
That's a pretty kick-ass premise, really.
Yeah, and then it goes from there because they're fucked up, and they robbed the store. They think they're breaking into innocent person's house, and then there's literally a part where they sort of all are staying in a room, and they're like, "So what are we gonna do about this?" Because it's like it's almost like what the audience is thinking. Like, okay, shit, a lot has happened right now, and now what are we gonna do? Because we're robbers. You have a kid chained in the basement. Where do we go from here? It gets very interesting. I think me and Andy were the only ones that saw Zombieland 2, which surprised me.
Yeah, I didn't make it to the theater. I'm bummed about that as well.
That was a lot of fun.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. That was a double feature with the wife. We watched The Addams Family, and then we went and saw Zombieland 2.
That's fun. I like Addams Family too.
Addams Family, another one I'm bummed I missed in the theater. It got difficult this year, I guess, to get to the theater.
I guess.
I think I made it a point to get there more this year. I've probably been to the theater more times this year than I have in the past freaking 10 years.
I felt like the first half of the year I started pretty strong, but it tapered off. Because I'm looking at the list now, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I missed that one when it was in the theater.
Yeah, went and saw that one. And Escape Room, went and saw that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed Escape Room.
I didn't see that one at all, and I'm hearing good things. I'm seeing it on some of the lists, so I guess I should have checked that and the Annabelle. Both of those I I guess I'll admit it was probably one of those things where I'm like those are
Yeah.
too mainstream or made for teenagers. It's not for me type things, and I shouldn't think that way because I find some good stuff when I open my mind and see things I don't think I'll like.
Yep.
I see we all saw In the Tall Grass. What'd you guys think of that one?
Except Andy.
I thought that would be on
I missed
Jason's
it.
list.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. It's the King Boys.
Yeah. Father Son Project. I liked it.
Expecting that to be
Patrick
on your
Wilson.
list.
Yeah. Why?
Why? What?
Why? Is there something?
Because you're tall.
Oh, right.
No, just because it seemed like up your alley for some reason. I watched it, and maybe because you were like, "Hey, you should check this one out. It's worth a watch," and it was. It definitely was. For me, the premise was so damn cool, and it started off really cool, and I'm claustrophobic, and it was sort of fucking with me, and then it just sort of started dragging to me towards the end. I did not care anymore.
That's kind of how I felt. By the end, I just didn't even care anymore. It dragged on a bit. Again, I agree. The premise seemed really cool. It started strong. I felt like they just missed the mark a little bit in the execution. So,
But that feeling you got in your stomach, that second jump they did,
Yeah, when you're further away, holy
you're
shit!
just like, oh
Yeah.
fuck.
that was cool. That was a cool moment.
Well, and it's once it starts time looping and it's time travel stuff, then I'm starting to get a little,
You're s-
anxious. I don't like time travel stuff, and too many questions. I don't want to think too hard. But
yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, Wrinkles the Clown was one that I see on the list that no one else saw. Was a weird one, a documentary about a guy a few years ago when it was like the clowns in public craze, when people would like call in the cops because there was clowns just popping up in cities. Like people would see them on the side of the road with a balloon or looking in their windows and shit. Basically, this guy started it. He created a viral video, and then he became a huge thing, and so he started making money off it by advertising his services. And these horrible parents would hire this guy to dress up in this terrifying clown costume and show up as a discipline their children. Like if their children
Jesus
weren't
Christ.
like going to bed or misbehaving, they would pay this guy. He'd show up and like knock on their bedroom window while they're sleeping, and they're like, "If you don't behave, Wrinkles is coming back." Or they would hire him, and Wrinkles would call and leave him voicemails.
Oh my God.
And they talked to this like psychologist about how damaging this is to children permanently and stuff, and why it's such a bad idea, which seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But they talked to some of the parents who used them, and they're like, it's a scare tactic. Like, it's no different than yelling at your kid or spanking them. It's like, yeah, it is. But it's a little more than the documentary too, because it takes a turn about halfway through, and I won't spoil that in case you guys want to watch it. But there's another little twist on this twist. It's sort of cool. So
Okay.
that one was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. We all saw Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
That didn't make any lists.
No list.
Yeah, it was good. It was okay. Just like, Pet Cemetery is just not my favorite Stephen King story. That's what it's boils down to. They did a great job with it. I have no complaints. I liked the changes. I don't mind the changes.
Same. I like
It's
it.
just like, okay, it's Pet Cemetery. It was really
It's
good.
mid-
I'm ready to move on.
It's mid ground for me as well. I mean,
Yep.
it was well done, but I was pretty sad that the cat from the movie actually passed away, but
Yeah, that was sad. Jason, The Hole in the Ground. I really like that. It came close to my list, I'd say.
Awesome.
What did you think of it?
It was great. I mean, I pass on that all year long because, like, I don't know if it's the artwork they used for the poster or description, but I've seen
Was it doing it for you?
It just didn't do it for me. It looked like something I've seen 10 times already, or it looked too, I don't know, just too generic. But once I saw it was 8:24, I'm like, I can click the button now. They won't let
Yeah.
me down.
Damn it.
The concept was creepy. I mean, kid movies in general are fucking weird. So
It turned out pretty great.
yeah, it was. I think it. Once again, sort of at the end, it lost me a little bit just because it dragged a bit, but it was good.
So another thing that there's still tons of movies we haven't talked about in this little section here, but I definitely wanted to reiterate that, like, and I don't think we've mentioned any of our number 11 spots, and I just wanted to let everyone know that if you wanted to hear what each of our number 11, the film that just didn't make our lists, we did a bonus episode about that you can hear on Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you can sign up to Patreon and hear all the bonus episodes, including what our number 11 was.
That's right.
Just wanted to. It's exciting because I'm sitting here. I'm like, I want to talk about that. I already talked about that.
Yeah, I just had maybe one more. I'll limit myself because I could go all night
Yeah.
going through this list. But this other one I watched called Braid was really, really different, and I think Jason, you would dig this one. Did you see this one?
No.
Basically, these two women who are wanted, they decide they're going to rob their childhood friend, who is wealthy but has some mental issues, and she's created this sort of fantasy world that that her and her friends that she created as a child, and she's still living in this world in her head. And so they decide make basically a pact that they're going to visit their childhood friend and take advantage of her and take her money, but they realize that they have to basically live in this world with their friend and play her game, basically. Like, they have to earn that money by playing into her crazy thoughts and she owns this humongous house that's literally falling apart. And the movie's a trip because you're not sure if you're watching her fantasy world or they're in the real world, and what is real and what is not, and it's bouncing all over. If you want to watch a movie and not, like, if you want to have it in the background, this is not it. Like, this is one you have to sit and watch, because if you miss a second and you have no idea where you're going, there's a few times I had to go back and rewind it and watch, because I looked down at my phone or something and I'm like, where are we? What are we doing? But it's cool as hell. Really,
Awesome.
really unique, completely unique. And like I said, once they get into this game and things start to get a little violent and they start to hallucinate, and their things aren't as easy as they thought to get this money. So Braid is I think it's on Hulu, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for 2019. Well, wait, that isn't all yet, because we have some shout-outs. We want to hear what you guys think are the best movies of 2019. So we're going to do some shout-outs here. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, it's time for some shout-outs. Give it to us, Jason.
It's time for
Shout-outs! 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 Shout-outs!
All right, just wanted to hear what everyone else thought. We've been talking about it way too long. Let's hear what you attackers think. We asked on our Facebook page. We'll go with our pal Don and Nelly. He says, I'm still playing catch up at this time. My list to see still includes Crawl, Midsummer, Child's Play, It 2, and Ready or Not, among others. But at this point, I can safely say I'm at a top 5 of The Wrath, The Shed, Us, Porno, and The Golem.
Porno.
Right, and we've all heard of maybe one of these, 2 of these movies.
Yeah.
That's
Wrath-
Dawn
I
for
think I
you,
heard of
though.
Wrath.
Yeah, I've heard of The Shed, too. I've heard some good things about that.
Dawn always
Porno.
finds it. Mike. Anyway, in no particular order, which I expect to change drastically when I finally get those missing heavy hitters out of the unwatched pile. You probably will. One more time.
Porno.
Up next, we got Tim Lennerer says, La Llorona is easily the best title you can sing to my Sharona.
Nice.
But I hear it just makes the monster angrier when you do that. That Tim, he's funny.
He is funny.
He really didn't say anything. Okay. Then we got Scott Alden, the Movie Defenders podcast, right here on the PFPN. He says, I've loved your previous shows on this. Oh, thanks, Scott. Thank you. We drop ours near Oscar time. Nice plug. Stay tuned. That said, his are It, Chapter 2.
Nice.
We know he likes that one.
Yeah, true.
Us, Crawl, and this is kind of a good one. Joker, maybe horror. Real life. I don't know. It's dark as fuck, right?
Still haven't seen it.
Wait, it's a comic bookish movie,
I
Mike.
still haven't seen it.
Huh?
Interesting, huh?
You need to get out more to the theatre. Up
Here's
next,
the
we
thing.
got.
I know I wouldn't be able to go see that movie
That's
without Simon wanting to go too, and there's no way I'm going
Yeah.
to let him see that movie.
No, he's not old enough. Oh wait, and then didn't you have like comic book geek problems, hang-ups?
I
that kept you
no,
from-
not really. I mean,
You were gonna be
I know
unable to
he's
clean
not going
slate
to.
it.
I know it's not going to be my Joker, but that doesn't mean it
Okay.
can't be a good movie.
Okay. Good answer. Up next, we got Jose A. Ronhell says, Tigers Are Not Afraid is easily the best horror film of 2019. I know it ran the festival circuit last year, but we didn't get it here until it dropped on Shudder this year. I'm counting it for 2019. Don't worry, we all
We did
are
too.
It's a very hard-hitting and haunting kids and horror film from Isa Lopez. If you guys haven't seen it, please take a look. I absolutely love it. It reminds me of the first time I saw Guillermo del Toro films back when I was in high school, and it does.
Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely does.
I can agree with that. Yeah, it's a good flick.
Totally agree. All
We
right.
talked about it somewhere. I don't remember at this point what
Yeah,
episode
Andy
or what
and
bonus one did we talk
Yeah.
about it on?
Andy and Tad had it both as their number 7s.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Just missed my list, too. I thought it would, but... So sad. Okay, then we got in our Facebook group. We have one of those. A group edition.
Whoop.
We got... You want to hear from Brian Clark? Well, you're going to hear
Yay!
from Brian Clark. He says, I've seen... It starts like you. I've seen so few 2019 movies. I know I'm missing out on some great stuff. Ready or Not is the most fun I've had in the theater in a while. Josh Kennedy's House of the Gorgon is a terrific love letter to Hammer horror.
Nice.
I don't know of this.
Me neither.
He always has at least one. You're like, you made that up. And he's not done. He says, One Cut of the Dead wasn't widely available in the U.S. until 2019, and that movie is amazing.
All agree.
So true. And lastly, in the Facebook group, we got Tim Lennerer. Tim Lennerer, the funny guy, he's back with a real
Is
answer.
an answer?
Maybe. Midsummer used a razor-sharp command of cinematography and color to have one orange drink on a table full of yellow drinks, cluing the audience into exactly what was happening when the main characters were oblivious. It's a slow burner, but if you like folk horror at all, you should definitely check it out. Good answer, Tim.
We agree.
We all agree.
Yep.
Good. Over on Twitter, we didn't have a real straight up response, but our pal and super patron Brian Godsell, he's always tweeting out the episodes as he watches them, which is kind of fun to follow along. Like, what's he gonna do? And so, like, he just listened to part 1 and 2 from last year.
Oh, nice. I know he's been marathoning through all the shows.
Yep. And so in his last tweet I got here, he says he just watched the 2018 awards part 2, and he says, "I'm now ready for the 2019 awards show. I'm hoping The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot gets some love."
It did.
And
It sure
it did.
It made my list, I'll tell you
I mean,
that.
not for me.
Oh,
That wasn't on my list.
it wasn't. You'd have to. Okay,
I
and
have to
then
finish watching it.
and then lastly, over on Instagram, we have one of those too. We got Backlot 605 says, "One Cut of the Dead, The Lighthouse, Us, Little Monsters,
Yeah.
Ready or Not, and The Headhunter." That was some good picks.
Yeah.
And then lastly on Instagram, we got Horror Miser says, "Us, It Chapter 2, Midsummer, Ready or Not, and Happy Death Day to You."
Nice.
Great picks, everybody. Oh, man, what a good year. What an awesome year.
Yeah, it's a good year. Good stuff. A lot of fun stuff.
Is there things you're looking forward to in 2020?
There's nothing on the radar. I don't know what
You
the
have a
hell's coming
zero
out.
on the radar.
I don't know of anything coming out, man. At least in the world of horror.
Wow.
The Grudge comes out here pretty soon, right?
Yeah. He looks really thrilled. Trust me with that. I'll tell you.
Woo! Another
Grudge movie.
hair in the face movie. Yeah.
No, the posters that they have out now actually have real hair, like a wig attached to the top that hangs in front of the poster.
Oh Jesus, that's kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of over the long-haired ghost
Oh.
movies.
They took a long enough break. I think it's time for them to come back.
I just don't know what new could be done with this.
What else, guys? What else is coming out?
I don't know what else is coming
I
out.
didn't really.
What
prepare.
is
New
coming
Mutants.
Oh, is
New
that
Mutants
finally
supposed to
coming out
finally
this year?
come out? Yeah.
Talk about comic book horror.
Yeah.
That
The
one's
Conjuring 3 comes out, I think, this year, right?
Oh yeah.
Or is that 2021? Halloween Kills.
Oh
coming
yeah.
out.
Halloween
Yeah.
Kills.
What is the one I'm thinking of with the Antlers? I don't know if you've seen that trailer. There's the color or the shape of what's on the new Nick Cage one?
The new Richard Stanley one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can do
God
it.
damn it! It's right there. The
You got this, Bollinger.
man, I've read up about it so much.
It's the color of
The shape of color. God
I
damn it!
have it in a second here. It's the color of space.
Color
Color out of space.
out of space.
Yes.
Spectravision. New film with Richard Stanley directing.
It's about time.
Writing, directing.
It's about time. Although, to this day, I still have not seen Dust Devil. I've seen Hardware,
I
and of
still haven't
course
seen
Dr.
Hardware.
Moon.
It's on my to-do list. I've got the DVD, so
And Hardware is one of those, if you go all the way back to earlier episodes of the show, I know we talked about Hardware, and I don't remember giving it a very glowing review. But as time passes, and the more that movie sits in my brain, or if I see, a screenshot from that movie, or I see clips from that movie, the more I'm like, I think I really liked Hardware.
Quiet Place Part 2.
Is that supposed to be this year?
Maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. It won't be as written as well.
Hey.
It won't be.
Fantasy Island. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Afterlife.
The Invisible Man. That looks really
that
good.
did look cool. Wait, no. I stayed away from the trailer because somebody told me they showed too much.
Yeah.
How can you see too much with the Invisible Man?
Stop it.
The new Candyman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, isn't that produced by Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele. Yep.
Urge 5.
Yeah. There's some good stuff coming.
Yeah. We'll just keep listening to this show and we'll keep you informed on what's coming up.
I will. Oh, you weren't talking to me.
You would have to listen to the show.
That's true. So that is it.
Oh, how exciting.
2019 is now officially over when we
is.
say it's over.
Yeah, it
so
is.
it's over. Bye-bye 2019. It has been quite a year.
Happy New Year!
That's right. Time for 2020 with Barbara Walters.
No.
So I want to give a special thanks to all the listeners out there. Because of you, we've been doing this now for
In our 9th year.
coming up on 200th episode, man, which is huge. Considering we're every other week, so that's a long ass time doing this.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be still sitting here doing it if it weren't for you people out there listening. So, thank you so much. So, until next time, this is Insane Mike, and we will talk to you on the next episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
The 200th episode.
200th episode.
Next!
Oh no, could this be the end of?
Attack of the Killer